The biggest problems are the biggest business opportunities. I mean, they're the biggest cultural impact opportunities. They're the biggest opportunities for history. They're the biggest opportunities for contribution. To create lasting change, reinforce stability, and design an environment to inspire, stimulate, and reward change. Make smart, beautiful, intelligent the new simple, easy, normal. And so that really changes pretty fundamentally how we work. Empathy really is the key to a positive future. And empathy is really the DNA, the source code for design. If you think about what we do every day as designers, we try to understand someone else's problem. And that is what we're going to need to do on a kind of global scale over the next decade. In our design culture, we think about problems as objects, and we cut them out of their context. So we cut away anything that connects them to the rest of the world. Designers care about the citizen. They care about the individual, the user. And when you care about that citizen, you can't not care about their community, because you can't have a thriving citizen in a toxic community. And therefore, you have to care about their ecology, because you can't have a thriving community in a toxic ecology. Now, several years ago, I did a project called Massive Change. Back cover really says it best. It's not about the world of design, it's about the design of the world. And it was started really sort of all inspired by this quotation by a British historian named Arnold Toynbee. And he says that the 20th century won't be really remembered for political conflict or innovation. That ultimately that's not where what we're really about. And instead it will be remembered as an era in which we dare to imagine the welfare of the entire human race as a practical objective. And when he used the term practical objective, he makes it a design problem. No matter what I'm doing as a designer, I'm designing a future. And I'm trying to make that future better than what we have to create value. So we started a school called the Institute Without Boundaries. And we did a 20,000 square foot exhibition that started in Vancouver and went to Toronto and Chicago. Broke attendance records in the museums. Where we failed to design, we designed for failure. And you can see all over the world, if you look at the history, wherever we failed to design our ecologies, we destroyed them. Probably the most important diagram that came out of the project was this. And it shows the transformation of design from the kind of natural order of things, the kind of conventional way of thinking about it, that design is a subset of business, that business happens in a cultural context, and culture happens in the natural world. What we saw was that nature, culture, and business are now all design projects, and that we are in the process of designing the natural world. When I opened that show in Vancouver, I went to a high school, and a young woman came to the microphone after my presentation, and she said, "Mr. Mao, I think you're not thinking big enough." She said, "Well, Toynbee was right about the 20th century, but in our century, the real project is the welfare of all of life." And I have to say that she really blew me away. She was absolutely right. We are life. And now we can imagine a new approach to design that really puts life at the center, not humans. And we come to life collectively with all the other beings to honor and respect life. And it creates a whole new way of thinking and working. And the question is, if we're going to work and think that way, are there principles that we can apply? And there are. That's really what the project of MC24 was about. We tried to understand, in our way of working, when you think this way, are there principles that we could teach anyone, that we could actually help people apply this in their own life, in their own work, and really advance the cause? Design is actually a method of leadership. We can imagine a future, envision a future, and systematically execute the vision, which is the best definition of leadership that I've been able to do. As designers taking on the great challenges we face today, our responsibility is to bring optimism to the table, to really look at the data and understand what's actually going on, and really apply that to the challenge at hand. What I like to say is that we cannot afford the luxury of cynicism. And what you realize is that we long for safety. Right? And the more the world changes, the more potential dangers there are, the greater our need for stability. Science shows that most decisions are not taken in the frontal cortex where we think they happen. We think that we can look at the information and make a decision. And that's how we're going to do. Most policy is based on that idea that if I give you the right information, you'll do the right thing. But actually, we're driven by a powerful need to conform. We need to fit into the pattern that we see around us. We learn how to behave by watching others. When we design, we change how people live. Therefore, designing new norms is the real objective of master change design. It's not the kind of special object or the unique case or the kind of heroic effort. It's really about how do we make this a kind of accessible and easy. We don't have the power to make people do things. So when we see the opportunity, our responsibility is to inspire. Right? The only way to make change is to inspire.